And welcome to another episode of the Why Behind the Why podcast. I am Terrell James,
I'm Dr. Nicole Thomas.
and this is going to be a part two of the last episode, Operating from a Place of Fear. So I feel like there were like so many different places that we went, but there's so many more places that we can go with this.
Right.
I'm actually glad that it worked out the way that it did because, and I'm glad that we decided to do two parts to this because I actually got permission from a client of mine to share a story
Okay.
about him operating from a place of fear. And that actually is where I want to start today. Okay.
Great. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
So, and it made me realize that sometimes you can do the right thing, but if you do the right thing from a place of fear, then it'll still give you bad results.
That part.
So what happened was he and his wife had been having some issues,
Hmm.
and they had been so they kind of that they were getting to a point of healing, but
Hmm.
in the process of healing he was going overboard with trying to help her heal the situation, just trying to be a better person. And he said, and part of the reason that we were you know in this session that we were in was because he felt that the more he tried and the harder he tried, he seemed to keep running into these obstacles.
Hmm.
Something would happen, and he just eventually got to the point where he was like, it's a little weird for me because I feel like I'm trying to do everything right, but somehow I keep coming up short.
Okay.
And the conversation between he and his wife turned into, well, her saying, I don't want to keep bringing up things that you're doing because I don't want you to feel like you're not doing well with trying to heal us. And she said, because you're doing a great job, but I don't want you to get to a point where you just feel like you're just tired and you don't want to um, try to live up to these expectations that you think that I have now.
Hmm.
And he said, it's confusing and it's frustrating because I have been in my mind doing everything right and doing more than enough. So I asked him, when you're doing these things for your wife, what's going through your mind at the time? And he said, I just hope that she accepts it. I hope that she sees that I'm good enough.
Oof.
I hope that this is going to, continue us on our healing journey. And I said, got you. I think I know what's going on and why you all keep running into obstacles. I said, you're operating from a place of fear. You know, you keep doing all of these things hoping that the thing that you fear doesn't happen.
Hmm.
I said, I want you to switch this thing around. I want you to start operating from a place of love. Don't
Hmm.
tell her that you're doing this. Just start operating from a place of love. So don't do it out of any fear. Do it because you love her. Do it because this is
Hmm.
what she deserves. And he said, okay. He said, I don't know how I'm going to try to change that mindset, but I'm gonna change it. I said, well, just try to make a conscious effort. So anytime that you're about to do one of these things that you've been doing to go above and beyond, just say to yourself, she deserves this, and I'm doing this because I love her. And he started doing that. It took 2 days. He said he has seen a complete change in their interactions. They have gotten closer. He said in 2 days they got
Wow.
closer. He said, I know you told me not to tell her, but we were just having a conversation, and in this conversation, she was just saying, I just see such a huge change in you, but I feel a huge change in us. And he said, He said, I changed the way I was doing things. I changed my intention behind the way I was doing things. Before I was doing it out of fear. Now I'm doing it out of love. And she said, keep doing this. We're going to be together forever.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I actually love this story. So because there's another side to that. And I would love to dive into that because you said some stuff.
Mhm.
You said some stuff. And it just goes back to how fluid energy is, and whatever energy you work out of, you will get back. And it's whatever energy. It's fear. It's he said, I feel like I'm not good enough. I want her to know I'm good enough, which means something in him is saying I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
And if you're sowing not good enough, then what you have to get back is situations, the mirror that you're not good enough.
Mhm.
So, you know, that's a huge bit. So if he goes back and also have the intention of everything he does with love, but also go into the intentions of I'm more than good enough because I'm a piece of God and everything God is I am. So I have to be good enough. And he fixes that. Ooh wee.
Mhm.
Ooh wee. So if he is listening, my dear love, listen, you are a piece of God and everything God is, you are.
Mhm.
Which means you have to be good. There was no mistake in making you, there was no mistake in you. So know that you're good enough. Not even believe, know that you are good enough and there's no mistake in you.
Mhm.
Operate from that place of knowing that I gotta be good because I'm a piece of God. I'm an expression of God. So if there's no mistake in God, there's no mistake in you.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I thought that I thought it would be great to start the show with a success story.
I love it. Ooh,
You
I
know,
love
because I think that it highlights, I think that it also answers the question um that was posed on last episode. How, I know a lot of people would think that the opposite of love is hate, but we were making it clear that the opposite of love is fear, right?
it. Yeah.
And and I think that that is a perfect example of the opposite of love being fear, because when he started doing things out of love instead of doing things out of fear is when everything changed.
Yeah, because it's law. It has to be. So what he was sowing out of fear had to show him things to be more fearful of. So
Hmm.
it always comes back. It's like a mirror. They call it the law of attraction, but it's also called the law of mirror and the law of sowing and reaping. It has many names. But whatever you sow in, so all that fear he has of not, not being good enough, not doing it right, not being able to be seen, her leaving, them not being together, situations, and all of that is just a situation, but the root of that thing is fear, right?
Right.
Everything is running out of fear. So it
Mhm.
has to show up as a mirror, situations. And let me say this because people think when you say sowing and reaping that it comes back the exact same way, or what happens is situations will come up to give you the same feeling. I want to clarify that. So
Right.
how are you going to reap it? You're going to reap it because what you sow, which would be fear, situations, things, places, people have to come up to bring you the same emotion of fear. I want to clarify that so
Mhm.
it's very clear on how this thing works, because when you know the rules of the game, then you can play it a little better.
Right. Hmm.
So so what he was sowing was fear, and things had to keep coming up to make him feel more fear and more fear and more fear. And what you got him out of was the loop,
Hmm.
and put a different energy behind it. And the intent be with the new energy will bring him situations that make him feel what she just said it, love. We'll be in love forever because now he's sowing love.
Right. Hmm. Okay. So now I want to move on to another feeling that can be associated with fear, but is not a bad thing. I want to
Okay.
talk about fear versus intuition.
Okay.
So, how can people differentiate between the two? How can I see that this isn't me operating from a place of fear, but understanding that my intuition is telling me something?
Well, it's two different emotions. They have two different energies. They feel different. So your intuition can say not to go this way. And it could tell you that. And then later on, you can find out there was an accident where you wasn't fearful that it said not go this way. It was just information that, that was a downloaded to say, don't, inner feeling saying, don't go this way, go this way. Um, so it only turns into fear in intuition if you allow it to. It goes back to our conversation in part one that says it's the perception and how you look at it. So you can look at it if there's some under. Let me say this in healing. Why healing is such a beautiful thing. First of all, you have the desire to heal. Everything is going to come up so that you can. That's number one. There's no such thing as you having a desire and then it does not come up so that you can deal with it. Now, you might need help with what's coming up because that desire can show up in you, and you might say, I have the desire to heal, and then everything, all hell hits the fan. You trying to figure out why all hell hit the fan.
Hmm.
Well, because that desire is as soon as you have it and you really mean it, everything in the universe moves so that you can heal. So you might need help working through what shows up, but it's going to show up. And I say that to say, if it's fear that's in, if you have an underlying energy of fear and that's in you, then it's going to show up in a lot of different things. So now your intuition is ran on a fear base because fear is there. And until you remove that root, it's almost like we call it the onion. My master teacher used to call it the onion. Until that onion, you pull the whole onion up, then it comes, it's there, it's running the program. So everything you do, that fear is running that program. So the intuition can be working right on point, but because fear is running the program, um it's going to screw with your intuition and cause your perception to be different about what your intuition is saying.
Mm. Okay. I mean, I said okay, like you telling me. I knew that. I asked the question for everybody else. That's right.
Really? I got it.
Yes. But yes. If you all haven't figured out by now, that's pretty much what happens. I ask questions that I already know the answer to, but I allow her to answer them because she's going to answer them better than I would. So,
He asked the best questions. Let me say that. I've always said to you, you ask the perfect questions. I never have to, I don't even worry about it. I know you're going to ask the right question to help, guide me through whatever we need to talk about. So it's a perfect match.
okay, so let's see if this question is just as perfect as the other ones. So, a person who has been operating from a place of fear for a long time,
Hmm.
okay, and let's say it's due to, let's say, childhood trauma.
Okay.
Now, as they get older, sometimes, as the years go by, there's sometimes this disconnection. There's a disconnection between the root of your trauma and the
Hmm.
reason that you are fearful of things. And of
Absolutely.
course, that's where, a lot of times there are certain things, certain methods that that we do as metaphysical practitioners or even psychologists or therapists or whatever, whatever, the title is, but there's certain things that you do to try to um figure out what that childhood trauma is, to connect the dots, right?
Hmm.
So a
Hmm.
person who has been operating from a place of fear for a long time but can't pinpoint, They can't pinpoint exactly where the fear came from.
Mm-hmm.
But now the fear is leading them to a place of self-sabotaging.
Mm-hmm.
How can that person save themselves? Because I see where I'm headed, which is self-sabotage, but I can't pinpoint where I've been that has led me to where I am.
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because years of working with different people, there's an understanding that we all have a different journey. So we all get to
Mhm.
places different. So you have some people that can go straight to reprogramming the mind, reprogramming how they think. They don't have to revisit their past. That's not everybody. Some people have to revisit the past in order to get to the future. So for those people that have to revisit their past to get to their future, number one, I encourage everybody, this is not work that most people can do alone, because if you could do it alone, you it would be done, you wouldn't be having the problem. So first off, identifying that there is a problem, like something else is going on, I can't seem to get myself on the right track, I can't seem to get in the place that I want to be in. And as far as our coaching, what we do is that's what we do. We go in and clarify where you want to be, and then identify what's stopping it, where those boundaries, those things that are stopping, those blockages that's stopping it, so then we can help you remove the blockage. So this is work that I'll tell anybody, it's hard to do by yourself. Even coaches need coaches, just like therapists need therapists, psychiatrists need psychiatrists. So I would encourage anybody that is on this path and they're ready to heal, they are ready to do the work, to get help. To get help, because it's a process. When you're in it, then you a lot of times you can't see because you're too deep in it. So the
Mhm.
first thing I would suggest is for you to get assistance, whether it is us, whether it is some people need psychiatrists. I'm quick, depending on what the trauma is and how deep it is. I'm quick to say, okay, some of my clients have psychiatrists and me because we do two separate things, right? And it
Right. Mhm.
works. And I've seen the success in their lives. So depending on where you are in that trauma, or how deep the trauma was and how it is affecting your life, you might need both. It might just take us working through it and working through it spiritually, because we can provide spiritual counseling. So
Mhm.
it could just us, going through, if you have a very deeply rooted spiritual base, then a lot of times we can work through it in that aspect, and we can hit it from that point of view. But I don't know too many people that have done this work on their own.
Right. Okay.
But it
And
can be done. Let me say,
mhm,
it can be done. This is the mind work is the hardest work that you'll do in your life, but it's the most rewarding.
it
It
is.
is the most rewarding work you'll ever do in your life, because it'll change your whole life. Not just it will change your whole life.
Yeah, it's also the most impactful.
Yes, that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most impactful work you'll do. I mean, like you said, everything will change.
Hmm.
Everything will change. Um, when is fear a good thing?
I mean, well, it's, in certain instance, it can keep you safe to some degree.
Mhm.
But I'm a believer that um, so, let me give you an example. I have a good friend, and they do not fly. And I'm like, as long as you with me, you don't gotta worry about it. Because I ain't going nowhere, right? I'm confident. I'm confident that I'm not going nowhere. As long as you with me. So when you talk about fear, um, I don't know that there's ever a good fear. I know there is a good intuition that can say, don't go this way. Now you can relate that to fear, or you can relate it to guidance. There's a fine line there. So the fear itself, I can't say that it's ever a good thing. Intuition that keeps you safe is a good thing,
Mhm.
which are two different energies. So fear itself, no, I can't. I'm sitting, I'm thinking, I can't say that it's ever a good thing. We all go through it. We all have our things. I expressed last um in part one, I'm scared of bugs.
Mhm.
Put a spider or a snake or a rodent. I'm terrified.
Mhm.
Now that's not a good thing, and it's something that I want to overcome. But no, I can't say that me sitting and thinking that fear is any good in any aspect, because it will reap what it is. But intuition that keeps us safe is beautiful. I see that as a beautiful thing, because it can be anything. There's been times when I've gone out with somebody and everything in me said, "Mm-mm, this ain't what you want." Now, was it fearful? No, but it was my intuition. It was a beautiful thing because it warned me. It let me know that something was wrong, something was off. I ain't even had to figure out what it was, right?
Mhm.
All I had to do. So it didn't cause me to fear. It could have, right? It could have took me to a place of fear. But
Mhm.
me knowing and trusting my intuition says, no, it's a beautiful thing. I love that piece. Can
So
you think of something where fear is good?
yeah, it is, and I actually teach it. Me and my trainer, we actually teach that but it's combat though. So
Okay.
um, it's sometimes like, it's not about trying to sit there and be a tough guy and try to fight when you're clearly outnumbered and when this really is going to go. Yeah, it's okay to be fearful in that instance and to run. Anytime like you're faced with something like that and you have to run away, um yeah, I think that that's a healthy fear.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that's okay. I think that fear is okay,
Is
because
that fear, or is that like common sense? Is that fear, or is that you doing the math and saying, hey, I'm outnumbered. This ain't worth me fighting.
well, it's I think it's a combination of it all because your body responds in a way that lets you know I am afraid. Whether it comes in the form of perspiring or shaking, then the other things, you have that tunnel vision, those that like auditory issues or whatever, like all of these things, it's your body alerting you that I like right now I'm in fear of what could possibly happen. So then that's when the common sense kicks in and says, you know what, let's get up out of here,
It's interesting that you say that, because I was talking to a friend of mine, this electrician, the other day, and we were talking about that, and he said, one of his family members was like, should I do this? Should I do that? And he was like, it got into fear. And he was like, well, fear is what keeps me alive. It's not that I'm not fearful of what I'm doing. There's always fear there, because the fear helps keep me safe. So it's interesting that that's your perception,
hmm
because that was their perception, that it was the fear that kept them safe, because it kept them on their toes. It kept them alert. It kept them making sure that they were careful and paying attention. So yeah, that they share your perspective.
hmm Yeah, and I think we could make a case in with what I just said. I think that we could make a case where it's still operating from a place of love because if we go into the things that I am fearful of in a situation like that, right?
Mhm.
We could flip those things. So what I mean by that is I am afraid, like if something were to happen to me, I'm afraid of not being there for my children, for my wife, for my mother. I'm afraid of these things, right? But if I flip that, it's I got to get away because I love my children. I love my wife. I love my mother. So I could still flip that and say, well, I'm running and I'm operating from a place of love as I'm running away. But
But
the problem is the body still tells you I'm afraid.
yeah, but you just, oh, it's so beautiful that to me you just proved my point of perspective, right?
Mhm.
The same situation, how two people can look at them different. So my perspective of that is just that. So it is, and they're on the opposite end. Same, it's the same stick, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Opposite ends of the stick. So one person might say, one person might in that situation operate out of fear, and because of fear, no, I can't do this, I ain't messing with that, and I'm, and but the other person can say, you know what, I love me too much, I love my family too much, I love
Mhm.
my life too much, and I'm going to walk away because of that. But those are two separate energies, they're on the
Right.
same stick, two separate energies, which will
Right.
still reap two different different things. Because that person that walked away and said, I'm gonna walk away because I love myself too much and I love my family too much and I love this thing called life a little too much to participate in that. When they walk away, there is a ease and a calmness that they're going to experience because that's what they're operating in. That person that's fearful, when they walk away, they're going to experience those things that feel like fear.
Mhm.
So, any way you look at it, it's still two different perspectives. Same situation, you're going to reap different energies.
You just changed my mind. I I, I agree with you now. I agree 100%. That makes total sense.
Yes, it's beautiful. I mean, I love that scenario
Hmm.
because it
Yeah,
shows it
it does.
very, very clear. So I
Hmm.
love that scenario. That was right on.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I think that we have broken this thing down. Look, and if we come up with anything else that has to do with fear, we will revisit it on another pod. But I think that we have. I like where we started, and I love where we've ended with this.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was good. This was good.
Yeah. Definitely.
This was good.
All right. Anything else you want to add
I
about
just
fear?
I just want to echo. So if people are operating in fear and you see it, you catch it. And a lot of times we get in loops in life and cycles in life and we can't get out of the cycle.
Hmm.
Please get some help. Whether it's me, whether it is Terrell, we are here. This is what we do. This is what we do all day, every day. um, so please contact us or whoever you're comfortable with, but get some help. Like allow somebody to help you walk through this thing called life. It is worth it. You're worth it. You're so worth it. So that's all. That's it. That's all.
Yes, and if you want to get in contact with either one of us, Dr. Nicole's website is Nevaeh on Earth, and Nevaeh is heaven spelled backwards, but it's nevaehonearth.com, and mine is 360healing.net, and you'll be able to get in contact with either one of us.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this thing to a close. We thank you all for joining us. Look, I'm trying to get into the habit of ending with asking people to like, subscribe. I said subscribe, like, subscribe, comment. Um,
And
I've
share.
never,
And
and
share.
share. Yeah. I've just never been that guy to ask for those things. I'm trying to do it now though. So please, we would appreciate it if you did all of those things.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You all take care and be good to each other.